morning's newspapers now. With me to do that are the entrepreneur, Kate Hardcastle, and the anthropologist, Mary-Anne Ahota. Good morning to you both, Mary-Anne and Kate. Thank you very much for being with us this morning. Let's start off with you, Kate, the front page of the Telegraph. This is a line here that Michael Gove says that the housing crisis costs the Conservatives votes. Is this part of them trying to say that they're listening to voters and going to make changes in the future?
It absolutely is. Obviously, this is an important time for the Conservatives to go back out there and start reinstating what they are here to do. And we know over the last 12 years of the Conservatives in power, I'd probably summarise that a lot of the focus has been on the fact that we've had Brexit during that time, the pandemic, and obviously this challenge with austerity, the real cost of living crisis. So Gove, who is the Levelling Up Housing and Communities head, is talking to the Telegraph about how he feels one of the first lessons they really need to learn from that public vote was that they have to do more for housing, and that there are people that are renting that shouldn't have to rent, that they're perfectly capable of being able to get a mortgage, just not enough housing available. And we know the government made a pledge to make available another 300,000 extra new houses, affordable houses each year, of which I think they're lagging behind. About 216,000 have been delivered in the years 2021. But for me, we have a cost of living crisis. So this isn't just about people who are looking to transcend from rent to mortgage. This is very much about people that are looking to be able to afford to live. We've got thousands of people in emergency accommodation. This is a little bit tone deaf of the mood music of the day, I think. This isn't the only reason that the Tories got the result they did last week. I absolutely believe that we've got people who want to know how they're going to survive and pay the bills over the next few months. So yes, absolutely, housing is essential, as is the restoration of our communities as we go back into the next normal. But to cite it on this because there's something coming up in the Queen's speech, no doubt, isn't perhaps the tone of the day from everyone. The bigger concern, I think, is the cost of living crisis.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it does play into the cost of living, doesn't it, Mary-Anne? And we'll know the Conservatives will feel that they have won votes and been very successful by changing the way that people do own their homes. We think back to Margaret Thatcher's policies in the 80s.
I think so, but I also agree with Kate. I think this is actually quite a dissembling way of spinning this. It distracts from the Sinn Féin win in Northern Ireland. It distracts from, as Kate says, the very real and very immediate hardship that many people are experiencing and is only going to get worse over the next few months. I think the thing about the Brits and home ownership, if you compare us to other European nations, home ownership here becomes this, it's sort of this cultural trope. It's this idea of personal success, of coming of age, and we all buy into this idea that if you can't or don't own your own home, you're not really a grown-up yet. You know, we compare ourselves to our parents' generation, youngsters certainly do, or to their the generations who very comfortably took on a mortgage. I think my peers, we look at our parents who've perhaps paid off mortgages, and you just think, I'll just be handing on debt.
Yeah, how did you manage to do that? Absolutely right.
Yeah,
I mean, I suppose we'll move on. We'll move on from the housing thing in a minute. But I do suppose it is to do with the fact that we don't have the security that people need in the rental market. So perhaps there'll be some of that in whatever Mr. Gove is announcing in the next few days. All right, let's move on to the front page of the Sunday Times, Mary-Anne. This is your pickup, and you did touch a little bit on it there. This is the Sinn Féin. Reawakening Brexit tensions, as the Times view it. Obviously, they are now the largest party in the Northern Ireland Assembly.
It's a really extraordinary historic moment, if you will. So Sinn Féin now is the biggest party in the Stormont Assembly in Northern Ireland, the elected sort of House of Representatives. They got 29% of first preference votes, and many of the viewers will remember the time when Sinn Féin was regarded not really as a political party, but rather the spokesperson arm of a terrorist group, the IRA. Now they have legitimacy as a political party. The kind of leaders have come out and said very explicitly, this is not the time for games, this is not the time for retracting into sort of tribal politics, but actually to move forwards together. Unionists should not be scared. They used the word scared, which is, I mean, it says a lot about politics in Northern Ireland. But let's be honest, this is a real threat to the state of the Union. Sinn Féin do not want Northern Ireland to be part of the United Kingdom. They want to be part of a united island of Ireland. They don't even refer to Northern Ireland as Northern Ireland. They call it the North of Ireland. Sinn Féin MPs boycott Westminster. They recognise its authority. And, you know, roll the clock back not that long ago, and the Conservative government were in sort of partnership with the DUP, the Democratic Unionist Party, in order to maintain their majority. DUP are now at absolute loggerheads with Sinn Féin. Politically, they just don't see eye to eye. And then look at the SNP in Scotland, who are also lobbying for independence. And I think the next few years, we really are going to see very strong calls for new referenda to see whether Scotland and Northern Ireland want to be independent. And I would not be comfortable betting on the outcomes.
No, absolutely right. Okay, just pick up a little bit on that. We've only got about a minute left until we go to the break, but as the times here as well, this election result in Northern Ireland does open up again that Brexit wound, doesn't it? Because this idea of where the border is placed is intractable. And if you're going to upset someone wherever they decide to place it, and they will have to decide pretty soon.
The impact on trade, houses, living, families is so significant still, and we've got the front page of the Express where Boris is talking about how he's going to have this relentless drive to deliver Brexit. Again, I think what he feels is a soundbite that people want to hear today in advance of the Queen's speech. But absolutely, I mean, just going back on that point, though, I can remember when Sinn Féin's voices were blocked out on the meeting. We weren't allowed to hear from their leaders.
That's how I grew up.
Within our lifetime.
It was amazing. You
this
never
is our
heard his
lifetime.
Voice. Absolutely. Okay, guys, stay with us. We've run out of time for this block. We'll be back with you in an hour or so's time. All right, plenty more to come here on Sky News Breakfast. Stay with us. Back after the break.